friends, it's Miss Caparina again, and I'm here for week 3 of the caterpillars. You can see them inside the cup. I don't want to pick up the cup because they're very fragile, but some of them have formed a chrysalis on top of the cup, if you can see it. Let me turn it this way. I don't want to move it around too much because as you can see, they're very, very wiggly up there, and I don't want them to fall down. There are already 2 caterpillars that have fallen down from the top. That doesn't mean that they won't turn into butterflies, but when all of the caterpillars are ready and I take them out and put them in the butterfly net, I will take those out and I'll put them on the bottom of the butterfly net, and they could still become butterflies. That doesn't mean that they won't become a butterfly just because they're not hanging. Sometimes they fall down from the other caterpillars. There is a caterpillar that's still in there that hasn't formed a chrysalis yet. There's one left that still has to form a chrysalis. So as soon as that last one forms a chrysalis, I'll take it out and put it in the butterfly net and wait for them to become butterflies. So today I'm going to talk to you about the chrysalis itself. So here is a picture of a butterfly that's still inside the chrysalis, of a caterpillar that has changed itself into a butterfly inside the chrysalis, and this is what it looks like before it comes out. So what is happening inside that chrysalis? So we're going to talk about it right now. This is a letter from Dr. Universe to a boy named Easton, who had wrote him a letter, and it says, "I saw a caterpillar and a butterfly in my neighbor's yard. So my question is, what exactly happens inside the little sac they're in while they transform into a butterfly? And how exactly do they do that?" From Easton. So Dr. Universe answered Easton. He wrote a letter back to him and said, "Dear Easton, springtime sets the stage for one of the greatest transformations in the natural world. It's the construction of a butterfly or moth from a caterpillar soup," said my friend James David, an entomologist at Western State University. James studies the science behind metamorphosis, or how a creature transforms. Metamorphosis is a big fancy word for change, and that's what the caterpillars are doing inside the chrysalis right now. They're going through metamorphosis. They're changing from caterpillar to butterfly. Before becoming butterflies, caterpillars enter the pupa stage, where they build that little sac or chrysalis. The chrysalis protects the caterpillar as it begins to turn itself into a liquid, soupy substance. So, we talked about the egg, then we talked about the caterpillar, and the caterpillar is the next stage, the larva, if you remember that fancy word from last week. And now we're on the 3rd stage, which is pupa. Pupa is the next stage of the cycle, and it's the chrysalis. So inside the chrysalis, the caterpillar is actually turning into like a liquid, soupy substance, and that's what's going to turn into a butterfly inside the chrysalis. Caterpillars are born with everything they need to become butterflies. Some of these parts develop over time and are visible, like wing buds. The others can't be seen, but the information for these parts is stored in the caterpillar cells, waiting to be unlocked. The caterpillar is also born with the ability to make the substance called an enzyme. The enzyme is the key to unlocking the butterfly from the chrysalis. During the first couple of days of living in the chrysalis, the caterpillar's enzymes will eat the caterpillar itself, bit by bit. They unlock the information from the caterpillar cells. The new butterfly's organs, wings, antennae, and legs form inside the chrysalis. With new technology, scientists can look inside the chrysalis. They can see that the pupa is breathing through small tubes and actually watch the different parts start to grow. So I'm going to actually post the YouTube video of that too, what's happening inside, so you can see. We can't see that here because we don't have a microscope like a scientist, but we can see that it looks like there's nothing going on, but there's actually a really big change going on in there. So caterpillars have something called an enzyme that breaks down the caterpillar, turns it into a liquid, and that liquid then turns into a butterfly. So a butterfly is an insect, so it will have legs, it will have a body, it will have wings, it will have antennas, just like all other insects. It happens very quickly, sometimes in just a week, James said. A few days before the butterfly emerges from the chrysalis, its parts finish forming. Then the chrysalis turns a very dark color. About 24 hours or 1 day before the butterfly comes out of the chrysalis, colors and patterns start to develop on the wing pieces that cover the forming wings. The butterfly begins pushing its feet against the shell covering, covering its legs, antenna, and proboscis. A proboscis is the butterfly's tongue, and it rolls up and it rolls out when it eats. The proboscis is a long coiled mouth trunk it will use to drink nectar. Butterflies come out very soft, so their wings are pretty droopy. Blood goes out their body and starts circulating up through their wings and veins. This helps their wings stand up. After another hour or so, the wings are dry and the butterfly or moth can take its maiden flight. That means its first flight. So when the butterfly first comes out of the chrysalis, it doesn't fly right away because its wings are still wet. So it needs to wait for its wings to dry and for the blood to go through its wings so it can start moving its wings, and then it will fly. Sometimes that could take up to a whole day. While scientists are discovering more about what goes on inside of the chrysalis and how it happens, they are still eager to discover exactly why it happens at all. James suspects that it has to do with how they evolved. Caterpillars and butterflies eat different parts of plants. Caterpillars like leaves, and butterflies like to drink nectar. Since they don't have to compete for food, it makes it easier to survive. Metamorphosis also helps the insect make new colonies, and reproduce. While it's possible to do this when inching around, species can go faster and further when they spread their wings and fly. Sincerely, Dr. Universe. So, he tells us that what's going on inside the chrysalis, if you look at this picture, the caterpillar is becoming a soup. It uses that enzyme inside. It becomes a soupy, watery substance, and then it starts to grow an insect body, 6 legs, because insects have 6 legs, some wings, some antenna, and a head. And will also grow that tongue that it needs to collect the nectar. Like caterpillars like to eat leaves and grass and things like that when they're caterpillars. And then when they turn into butterflies, they eat the nectar of the flower. That's the inside of the flower. It's very sweet. So they like to eat that when they become butterflies. So I'm going to hold up the cup. I'm going to be very, very gentle because I don't want the the chrysalis to fall off the top. I'm going to be very gentle, and I'm going to do it not for a long time because I don't want them to fall off. And if you can see, they move very easily. So they're hanging from the top now. And that one right there has formed a chrysalis. The other ones are just caterpillars right now. They still haven't formed their chrysalis, but they're getting ready. There is 2 on the bottom that have formed a chrysalis, but they fell down while they were making a chrysalis. And that's okay. Sometimes that happens, but they will still turn into butterflies. Hopefully we'll get 7 when I put them in the butterfly net. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'm very excited to let you know next week if I have any butterflies. Bye!